What is going on, guys? RangoVinceMango12 here, and how are you all doing today? Now, I kind of been ill for a few days, like my voice has been like going and coming back and going and coming back, so if I sound a little bit ill, then that's why. So right here we've got Silk issue 4, and as you can see on the front cover, we've got Johnny Storm from the Fantastic Four, what looks to be on a date with Silk. And to be honest, I don't really like this front cover that much. I mean, Johnny Storm kind of looks like Ghost Rider, so yeah, without further ado, let's just jump into the issue, see what it's all about, review it, and let's get down to it, so let's go! So at the end of the previous issue, we saw the Fantastic Four come up to Silk and pretty much try and figure out what's going on with her, and of course Spider-Man was there to help her. And the issue opens up with Silk being introduced to virtual reality, and of course her going up against Galactus. And this method is pretty much used to try and figure out what her reflexes are all about, how fast she truly is, how good she is at fighting, and just her overall spider reflexes. And Reed Richards actually says that out of 10, she's pretty much top of the scale. Like, her reflexes are like nothing they've ever seen before. And as you can see on screen right now, Reed Richards is playing the virtual reality Galactus, and it looks awesome. Kind of like an awesome video game, which, well, to be honest, virtual reality is kind of coming into the video game industry. Like, Sony's creating Project Morpheus, and you know, Oculus Rift and all of that crazy stuff, so imagine being able to play Galactus like this in real life. It'd be awesome. Now, in case some of you guys are still trying to figure out what is actually wrong with Silk, well, if you remember, her spider sense was going a little bit crazy, her powers have been a little bit crazy as well, like nothing seems to be making sense ever since the Spider-Verse event, and she actually believes that it's down to going to that radiation planet. I think it was, I can't remember what Earth it exactly was, but it was the Earth where, you know, Uncle Ben quit being Spider-Man, and you know, the entire planet was like filled with radiation or whatever, and Silk actually believes that what all of this crazy stuff is going on with her powers is all down to her being overexposed to the radiation on that planet. Now, Mr. Fantastic Reed Richards actually believes that it's down to anxiety. It's all about the emotional inside of Silk, you know, what she fears, what she thinks going on with her, kind of like, you know, like when you get really nervous to talk in front of a massive crowd, kind of like that, except it's to do with her powers technically. So Reed Richards has actually referred her to a psychiatrist, maybe to go there, sit there, talk with her throughout these things, and it turns out this psychiatrist has spoken to other superheroes with other secret identities, so maybe this is like a well-known psychiatrist, maybe we're going to see something interesting from that. But Silk actually walks out of the room, walks straight up to Peter and punches him in the face for telling everyone that she was locked up for 10 years and stuff like that. So yeah, that happened. But one thing that I really loved was Peter and Johnny Storm's relationship. Now, we already know that them two love to mess about, we know that they take the mick out of each other, but just the way Peter just kind of interrupts Johnny Storm when he's trying to ask Cindy out is awesome. And I don't know why, but that art style really goes with it, and so far I really love this comic. I know in some of the previous issues I said that it's a little bit weird how she talks in her head all the time. To me, just like she does it too much, but in this comic the dialogue is just on point all the time. Like, it's really interesting to read. You never really lose focus of Silk as the character and everything like that, so I think that's brilliant. And you can even tell just by Silk's actions that there's something not quite right. Like, seriously, she goes to work and does overtime even when she's not getting paid for it, and even her work tells her to go out, go be young, stop working because they don't need her there. So she actually goes out dancing with one of her friends, and she's actually got this whole thing in her head about her being anxious, and she's thinking about what Reed Richards said to her, and she's kind of in denial, saying that there's nothing exactly wrong with her. But then we get a flashback going back to her parents, and in my opinion, I'm thinking that maybe this thing with her powers is all down to her parents leaving her. Maybe it's something in her past that she hasn't quite got over yet, and it's coming back to haunt her, and of course it's messing with her powers, it's messing with her emotions, and she's in denial about it. Now, I'm actually starting to believe that maybe this is going to continue until she figures out what actually happened to her parents, and maybe she feels like her parents abandoned her or something like that, and it's got something to do with that, because as you can see, she's even apologizing for what's going on in the panel right now, with all the webs being all over the room. She feels like she shouldn't be there, she feels like she's a failure, she feels like she's an outsider. But I don't know, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments section below about that. And now, as we move on throughout the comic, we get to the final part of Johnny Storm and Silk's date, and it actually looks pretty boring. Now, what you've got to remember is that these guys are superheroes. They are used to flying around the city, swinging around the city, saving people from crimes, and they can just sit there, and it seems really boring for them. So their type of date is going around, swinging around the city together, fighting crime together. And I think that's really awesome that superheroes have a different type of date going on. Like, normal people go on dates, they sit down at a table, they eat food, they talk much, they go to a movie or something like that. but superheroes, their type of date is fighting crime together, and that is their type of romantic date. What I love is that they even have that kind of gossipy date, you know, like where they're talking about the villains, they're talking about Black Cat, and Johnny Storm even comments on Black Cat's powers, talking about how she's got luck powers, which is actually a thing, and even I can't believe that. I already knew about it, but still, it's pretty weird when you think about it. So we get this brilliant end to the date with Silk kissing Johnny Storm on the side of the cheek, and it's actually loosened Silk up a bit. It's kind of made her feel better. It's took away a little bit of that so-called anxiety that she seems to be experiencing, and made her feel like she's worth it, if you get what I mean. So that was awesome to see. Now, as the comics come to a close, we go back to Black Cat, who's actually got some upgraded soldiers, so we're probably going to see those in the next issue, or in the next few issues, causing trouble for Silk, so that's going to be interesting to see. Now guys, that is the end of the issue, so what did you think? Let me know in the comment section below. I'm sorry about the video kind of being maybe a little bit rushed, but it's really hard for me to get my sentences out because I'm straining my voice a little bit here, so yeah, sorry about that. But guys, I'm going to give this issue an 8 out of 10. The art style and the dialogue, as I've already said, it was awesome. It blended well together, and the dialogue was just overall interesting. Guys, let me know what you thought in the comment section below. Go to the links in the description to follow me on Twitter and Facebook for all the latest comic book news and updates. You can also follow me on Instagram to see what I'm doing in my free time when I'm not editing these videos. And for more, guys, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button on this video, and I will see you all in my next video.